Arlo Parks, My Soft Machine, album review, let's chat about it. Hey friends, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning here tonight to chat about this second full-length album from Miss Arlo Parks. She is a UK-based singer, songwriter. She's been at it for a few years now, and her debut album, Collapsed in Sunbeams, I thought it was very pleasant. I thought that it did a very good job of, following up a solid set of EPs from her. I thought the singles in particular were really heavenly. If I had one major critique about the album, I just kind of wish she pushed herself more, because by the end of this thing, a lot of tracks kind of blended together and I forgot which one was which. That was a me thing. There was also a lot of really good material on here. The very jazzy, sort of soulful blend of R&B was very tasteful. Fans of the likes of like Leon LaHavas will absolutely want to check it out, which leads me to her new album. Came out last week, I want to say. This is her second full-length album, and leading up to it, I thought the singles, once again, were pretty heavenly. Let's chat about this thing. Early on in the album, we get the track Impurities, and I really do love this track's charm. This is a dreamy, very hip, very soulful blend of modern R&B. It's a really great example of Arlo's sound. It's an incredibly sweet jam. It really has some great lyrics, some great vocals as well. You could argue that it's a little straightforward, but it's the tracks like this from Arlo Parks that make me feel the warm and fuzziest. I love this. Devotion, on the other hand, is even airier, lighter on the ears, even sweeter. It's got some soulful licks. Arlo's vocals are just incredibly charming. There are some jazzy elements as well. And yes, I still do wish that maybe Arlo would do something a little bit bolder, but for the moment, I'm happy with this. I mean, this track is so likable. This overall theme of devotion is just, it's so pure. And it also might just be me, but I needed a little oomph on a track like this, and we get that with some pretty noisy guitars halfway through, weirdly enough, but I'd love to hear more of that. Blades, on the other hand, is a whole lot more playful, mostly due to the synth work here. But it leads to some of the album's funkier moments. Definitely love that. And Arlo does not seem out of place. She seems in full control. It's one of her more commanding performances, and this entire track is a build-up to just this fantastic chorus. It's a wonderful tune. I actually think it's one of the best tracks here. It's just big and full of life. It's the kind of track that I love hearing from her. And the final subdued verse that we get here, it is borderline steamy. And Purple Phase, on the other hand, I feel like I needed more risks like this on this album, honestly. This track is a completely different beat. It is very hazy. It is very laid back, almost surreal at points. And it's the kind of track that we haven't really heard much from Arlo, and I kind of wish we did hear more because she really does pack a punch here. Her vocals here are angelic, full of love and lust. I cannot help myself but get lost in this dense and steamy track. I mean, I'm just thrilled with this track. If we got a full album in this style, I'd be totally on board. But this might just be me, but I really do feel like Arlo still has a lot of kinks to iron out. Like Bruiseless, this album's intro. It reminds me almost exactly of the intro to her debut album. Lyrically, I don't think there's anything wrong with this track. As a matter of fact, it's pretty revealing and very deep, and kudos there. But I just can't help but feel like this could have been incorporated onto one of the later tracks on this album and been much more effective. That's just me, though. And Pegasus, featuring Phoebe Bridgers. I don't know what happened here. As a matter of fact, I don't know what's been going on with Phoebe's features this year because a lot of them have been really underwhelming. I actually think this is the worst track here. Listen, this album, if anything, has been very light on the ears and very sweet, but right about now, I just feel like I need a little something else. I feel like I just need a little extra something. Like, I'd actually pay money to hear Arlo and Phoebe on a different instrumental, because Phoebe doesn't sound terrible, but I need a little bit of a shift. Sadly, I think a lot of the issues that I had with Arlo's debut come back and haunt her here. A lot of these later tracks just blend. Dog Rose is a real letdown because this, to me, is the kind of risk that I wanted from a distance. This has Arlo taking a little bit of a stab at some dream pop. I just wish it wasn't some of the most faceless dream pop I've heard all year. And while other tracks just sort of blend together and get a little faceless, this track just comes off heartless, which is not what I expected. No, it's not good. Then we have Room, Red Wings, once again, like this is Arlo drifting into dream pop, and that sounds so good on paper. And I commend the very spacey, very hazy atmosphere. It actually comes off pretty good. But somehow, this track is even more faceless. Like, this sounds like 4 other tracks on here, and all 4 of those tracks are much better than this. And Ghost as the finale, it's a letdown for me. I don't know how we got here, but once again, this sounds like so many other tracks on this album, but all those other tracks have a lot more heart and passion. I mean, this album has so much potential to it. It's got so much heart and so much charm, but Arlo really needs to, iron out some of these kinks. But still, we get so many great tracks on here. Like, take, for example, Weightless. If you were looking for, one track to stand out here, a mission statement for this album, it had to be this one. This is probably her most instantaneous and accessible track here. It's got one of the most memorable hooks. The backing beat is super funky and laid back, and her vocals are absolutely divine. And yes, you can argue that this is probably her most poppiest and most accessible sound to date, and you'd be completely right, but I think that she nails it. I do like Puppy as well. This is one of the more patient and detailed tracks here. The warm, colorful atmosphere that we get here, it's refreshing. And it does have some of this album's weirder moments. That spoken word section is definitely out there. But it comes off really nice. It's a great sort of riskier track from Arlo that I really do like to hear. And I'm Sorry is one of the more jazzy and left field moments here. Like, this track's got some meat to it. And you know what? Between the patient drums and this instrumental and Arlo's performance, I feel like she handles this so well. There is an intoxicating element to this track that I just cannot get enough of. And I do really love the themes of lack of trust, mental health as well. It's really well done. I wish that she just ironed out some of these more awkward moments, because there's more awkward moments than I would have liked to have heard on this album, because so many of the singles are really heavenly. Her vocals are more than often just divine, and I do really think that she brings some really good songwriting to the table. I just still wish that she would just go for a bigger and bolder sound, and one that by the end of the album isn't blending into one another. And that's where kind of I'm at right now. I'm feeling a decent 6 on this album, but let me know what you all think down below. If you liked the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, friends.